Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions. You are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Sistas, currently airing on BET. This is Season 9, Episode 11, and also the mid-season finale. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like this video in support of me. You can also subscribe if you are new. And let's get in these comments and discuss this show, our show. Alright, so let's get into this episode. Alright, so we begin this episode, and I think it's not with Sabrina, finally. Andy's in her office, and our little troll, Hayden, comes by and gives some harsh truths about Andy. At least something that I think I can agree with, and possibly you agree with too. He brings some truth about how Andy is treating Fatima. Jealous of how Fatima is getting this type of treatment as far as with her clients, the gifts and stuff. You never really got all that when you were coming up, blah, 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 blah. Of course, she's not really hearing all of that. But also, he said that, the case against Dr. Cruz is not going to work. And you might as well just let it go. Hayden says that Dr. Cruz is one of his friends. Then I went, huh? Well, Dr. Cruz is one of his friends in regards to now that he is a client. Hayden has taken over his tax issues. So it's going to be a conflict of interest. Later on, Andy talks with Mr. Barnes in regards to it. And of course, Andy's going on to plead her case that there is more going on. You wanted me to get more information. But Mr. Barnes don't really want to hear it. He is a friend and also now a client. Let it go. He says that he likes her, but you got to let this go. We know later on in the episode, we find out that Andy is not going to let it go. And I think that this will be the determining factor on if Andy's going to really stay with the practice. My first indication that Andy needs to go was earlier in the season when Mr. Barnes wasn't even... Is his name Barnes? Because isn't Andy's last name Barnes? I don't know, but... the beat, Mr. Beat. I know he said something like that, but anyways, yeah. So, yeah, I think that although Andy's accomplished a lot, but I think you need to go solo, do your own thing. That's where I think it's headed to. But y'all can leave in the comments what y'all think. Let me see. So we'll just stay on Andy. Andy did end up talking to Dr. Bond in regards to that and let him know her plans and all that good stuff. We can go over to Danny. Danny comes home and of course sees Tony laying on the couch. He's watching some type of reality show in Atlanta and all that good stuff. Danny, of course, is annoyed. What have you been doing all day, Tony? Oh, I've just been kind of caught up here, da-da-da-da-da. Tony is proposing. Oh, Danny said, you were supposed to clean up. He's like, yeah, but then I got caught up in this. And she's like, well, basically, why haven't you cleaned up? Blah, 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 blah. He's getting to that. Now he proposes that he wants to rent out his place. And the kicker is, he wants to come move in with her. Danny, at this point, is disgusted, and she gets up and leaves. I'm sorry, one thing you cannot do as a black man, you can't have no job. Like, you better have a job. That's all I can say. Get a job. What was I gonna say? Yes. Danny's going to go meet with Sabrina and her cousin for happy hour. And we'll get to that pretty soon. Let's cut over to Zach. Zach and Rich, they're kind of venting about their problems and all that, and how he feels with this whole situation with Chaz and Fatima. This whole thing about him buying her a purse that's over $6,000 in value, that's not cool. Rich is like, do you think she even known about it? Like, he's kind of alluding that there must be something going on between them two. But he's gonna find out exactly what's up. So in Rich's words, Zach gets a white boy wasted. Now he's offering up drinks to the whole crowd that's in the bar, and he's getting drunk off of beers. Rich talks about his situation with Sabrina. Zach said it's probably going to be over because she done seen an image of you that's going to be locked in her head of you messing with another woman. Or so. Yeah, Rich, I think it's over. I can't. I don't see how you guys can really get back together. And your relationship was complicated in a way that no one would ever tolerate. And I'm just not seeing the root factor in you guys. I'm not really even seeing why you're here. Not at this point. You served your purpose, in my opinion. Rich is trying to get the dude home, Zach home. He calls Sabrina, say, hey, could you give me his address so I can take him home? He tells her what's up. Karen ends up calling Fatima to let him know what's going on over there. But what's going on with Zach? And she's kind of prepared in that way. Now, we're going to go back to the lawyer's office. We're going to talk about, I think Andy came in and told Fatima in regards to Mr. B wanting to, for me to drop the case. And she basically told Fatima her plans. And she said, how are you going to do that? She said, I'm just going to do this low key. And after that. Okay, so you know you're going to get caught up. Especially with, and Hayden is around and he knows everybody's business. But that's you, not me. Of course, beforehand, Fatima had issues. Something happened where Zach called her doctor, Fatima's doctor, her obstetrician, about they're exploring other options. And Fatima said, no, we're not doing that. We're going to be having a hospital baby, and that's just that on that. And if you have any other concerns or questions, run it by me before ever talking with him in regards to that. So she was already mad about that. Andy was like, is something bothering her? And then Fatima was like, no, we good. You can talk to me. Yeah. Probably at this point you don't want to talk to her, especially at how she's treating you, Fatima. So we get it. At the bank, Sabrina, Maurice, and Paige. Well, first it's Sabrina and Maurice. And Sabrina and Maurice were talking about the size and the curvature of Dr. Rock, Danny's cousin. He said, send me a picture. I send it through the cloud thing. Now, I don't have iPhone and all that stuff, so I stick with Jordans, that's all. But yeah, then Paige comes in, and Dylan, who is Paige's brother. Paige thinks that Dylan has come to see her. He's come to see Maurice. And he brought over some materials or something, stating, or asking, why don't we get together later on and we can put a vision board together. Vision board? What do you mean by vision? Paige is getting a little bit jealous there. Maurice, the other day when they were talking, he talked about, kind of being unsatisfied with his life, and Dylan wants to help him out. And I mean, that's a great start of a foundation of a relationship, friendship, whatever's going to happen between this ship. But you can tell the chemistry between the two. You can tell that they are anxious to jump each other's bones. However, they're taking it slow. But I'm telling you, the anticipation is a whole lot better than just going and dive right into it. So I'm loving this burn between Dylan and Maurice, but y'all can tell me what you guys think. But yeah, Paige got a little bit of egg on her face in regards to that. Let them be. Paige, you got your anaconda the other day, so let them do what they need to do. What was next? Karen holds the baby for the first time. Miss Faith. Miss Lisa is ready to take a nap, and she asked if she could go lay down for a couple hours in Karen's room, and she said, yeah, no problem. Hopefully you change them sheets, because you know how Karen has been for some weeks. So she goes and lays down. Karen got her, and she's, and then puts her in the crib, and then I forgot the word she said, but you could tell that her emotions changed really quickly. Aaron comes home. Karen and the baby aren't there. Karen left her phone, everything. So Aaron and Lisa, who finally has woken up, they go out searching for her. They call Danny and all them folks. Have you seen her? Blah, 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 blah. No, they haven't. They come back and find that there's a note. Karen has put on there that the only line I remember is that it's time to start a new chapter in my life, in our lives. Look, postpartum gets very intense. From what I've been hearing and what I've been reading and studying, it gets intense. And it's what's going on in the mind and in the soul that you can cause harm to yourself and to the baby. She did talk about, your sister's always going to be with you, da 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 da. This is why Lisa was around. And Lisa was like, she's going to be with all of us, da 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 da. But yeah. So Aaron ends up calling Danny to say a little bit more about what is going on. Now, to back it up a little bit more, Danny's at the bar or wherever they're going to be having happy hour. Pam comes in. Pam shares, Karen's not really happy with her as to how she has been handling the salon. Old girl don't really know what to do, so she's just kind of like, so she said that she's just gonna have to figure it out. Danny was giving her encouragement. You got to do something about it. You know that Karen's not really in the place to handle anything more. You got to do this. She said, I will. Right now I'm going to drink and then get back to the salon and make it work. Because she was like, I got to take care of her business and my business, roots to riches. I was like, well, that's very crazy. You were working at the salon first before this job, this entrepreneurship took over. Sorry, I don't think that you have, you shouldn't be letting Karen down, especially knowing that Karen's in a bad place. Sabrina comes, and then Dr. Rock comes. And of course, Sabrina is shocked that that's her cousin, and that Danny also saw his D. So she's throwing up. Well, she wants to throw up. She's getting queasy and all that good stuff. Yeah, so he's going on with the charade that he is still a doctor or whatnot. Maurice had told her to promise, don't be getting in love, you just want the sex. That's it. But of course, that's not in Sabrina's nature. She really can't go without really having a relationship. She just can't shut off the rest of her mind and emotions and all that good stuff. So now we're gonna get to the juicy part. Zach has already made it home and he's lounging out on the couch. At this point, Fatima's upset in regards to it. Did she find out about? Oh, Chaz had called Fatima and was kind of laying into her as to what Zach was doing to him. So all of these frustrations are now ready to come out. Zach is laid down on the couch. He gets up when Fatima gets in because Fatima's on 10 already. And they have this super big argument. And he's trying to figure out why this ninja is buying you stuff. Blah, 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 blah. And she said, I don't know why you're worried about that. Clients do that all the time. And for the most part, I gave everything away. It wasn't that important to me. Da, 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 da. You really think I'm going to really step out on you and cheat? He just says, you better not have. But Zach just in his feelings or whatever. About the whole doctor situation, she said, that's mine. Yes, my body, my choice. Yes, you are the father, whatnot, but I'm going to make the decisions as far as where we're going to be delivering our baby, blah, 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 blah. He said, okay. Is there anything else you want to get off your chest, Fatima? No. Okay, well, what about that conversation that you had with Danny about that you're glad that forever is gone and you don't have to deal with Karen? And then Fatima was like, well, did you hear the whole conversation? I said, it's not something, I felt bad about having these type of feelings, da 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 da. And Zach was like, well, you're just deflecting. That's how you want to do in this whole situation. So at this point, Fatima's like, I'm gonna go. Where you going? That's none of your business. Guess who's waiting outside? Chaz. Chaz, you are overstepping so much. And you know you are. You know you are. But for some reason, you think that you have the authority to do what you do. And that's crazy, sir. So I think Zach stepped outside, but whatever. When Andy went home, she was talking with Dr. Bond in regards to her plans on to still pursuing after this case. She said, hey, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna have a nice night with wine, pasta, da. My order has come. Of course, she opens the elevator, and guess who's there? Gary. You know he's back, you know he got it. Anytime that there's any calm within the camp of Andrea Barnes, Gary got to show up. So that was it. That's the mid-season finale. They're supposed to return back in October, early October. Like I think I saw October 8th to October 10th, something around that range. So we get a little short break. So I don't know if we're going to get a winter break at all, but yeah, that's where we're at with this mid-season. It wasn't too alarming, but there's a lot of stuff going on still. So hey, y'all tell me your thoughts of this mid-season finale. What are your predictions of what is going to happen? And that's all I got. So I'll keep you. I'll see you in about a month or so. Stay tuned to Zatima. We're going to get that going. Those were good episodes also. I loved them. I loved them. And until the next one, peace.